Hello, everyone. This is Omer from Swimm, and I'm going to show you how to swim in our public repository covering Python best practices. So let me start by sharing my screen. And here I'm within the Swimm app. And as you can see right next to the Getting Started with Swimm card, we have this card here about Python best practices. And if I click here, then I'm going to have a command called Swimm install right here with the URL of the Python best practices repo, which is also an open source repo. And if I click here, then this command will be copied to my clipboard. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open my terminal, my command line. And wherever I'm going to start this command, the Swimm install, it's going to clone the repository to my system. So I'd rather have it cloned to dev in my case. I'm going to change directory to this one. And I'm going to just use paste because when I clicked here, it was copied to my clipboard. So now when I hit enter, Swimm install clones the repository to my machine, and it's going to start Swimm from this repo. Once the repo loads, I'm going to see two playlists here. One covers Python best practices, so general best practices about Python, and the other one covers the typing library specifically. So now I'm going to show an example from Python best practices. So when I click here, I'm going to see this playlist currently has 31 steps. So these are 31 Swimm units that you can swim and learn from. So let's start with the first step. I can either do it from here or click on go to step 1. And this one tells me that I need to implement the function last element according to its documentation. And I have two options, learn by doing or walkthrough. So I want to learn by doing. So I'm going to copy this command Swimm play, and I'm going to paste it to my command line. Now I can do it here after I see the two Python best practices, but for me, I find it easier to do that from within my IDE. So I'm going to start VS Code with this project with Python best practices repository. And from within the repository itself, I can start the terminal. So I can use terminal, new terminal. And I'm going to paste the command here. So again, once I clicked on the command on Swimm's interface, it was copied to my clipboard. When I go here, I can paste the command. Once I click enter, I'm going to leave the master branch I'm currently on and start swimming from Swimm branch, as you can see here. And Swimm tells me implement the function last element according to its documentation, and that the unit has one relevant file, specifically a last element.py. So let me go to last element.py. And I can see here that this function returns the last element of a list or string, and I have a few examples. So if I run last element on a list containing 1, 2, and 3, it's going to return the last element, in this case 3. If I run it on a list consisting of two strings, hi and swim, it's going to return swim because it's the last element. And if it's run on a string with 5 characters here, so it's going to return the last element. In this case, it's the last character. And I need to implement that. So if I use now, as it says here, I can use Swimm hint, Swimm test, or Swimm done when I'm done. So I want to run the tests. So this Swimm test, the test is going to fail because what it actually does is run those commands here and test that the output by our function. So for example, if I actually provide last element with the input of a list with 1 to 3, it's going to actually return 3. But since currently it just does nothing, then the test will fail. So I can try to solve it. So in this case, let me solve it in a non-CellPythonic way. So I'm going to use return my list or string, the index of len of my list or string, -1. And this is correct, meaning that it will actually return the right output that I'm looking for. So if I use Swimm test, the test will pass. But in this case, Swimm will tell me, Swimm code review. On this line, return my list or string, etc. There is no need to use len. Read about list slicing. And this is a good opportunity for me to go online and look for list slicing, where I'll find that I can actually use this here. I can just go to my list or string and index of -1, counting from the end. I'm going to hit save again, and I'm going to use Swimm test. And the test's passed, which is pretty cool. And now, as I can see, this blinks here. And I'm going to see a screen that is very happy for me because I finished successfully. Cool. So I have this screen telling me, wow, you've finished this unit. I can see a summary telling me that using my list -1 is very convenient in Python, and there is no need to use len in this case. In this case, my solution matches the original solution exactly, so I don't see a diff. Otherwise, I would see a diff between how I solved this unit and how it was originally solved. And I can just go on to the next step by clicking here and then get another unit. So I hope these units are going to help you improve your Python skills. Enjoy and good luck.